Money Moves with Myth 2.0, the podcast. And always remember, gentlemen, it's a motherfucking movie. So today we have a young man talking about the harsh realities of Skid Row. And if you guys don't know what Skid Row is a homeless community in California. Um, so we're gonna be talking about some do's and don'ts from an ex homeless person, myself, and we're gonna be reacting to this video. So guys, make sure you guys subscribe, like, share, and subscribe, and let's hop straight into the content.
Luke, we're here in Los Angeles. You're homeless. Tell me about it.
Um, well, there's a lot to tell. Los Angeles is a very, very crazy place. I came here with my wife. Her family said, "Come on." We got on a Greyhound bus. We're on our way. We started calling the first day. We left, and no answer. We figured just a fluke. Called the second day, no answer, and from then on, no answer. We haven't spoken to them since. You come here and you come here and you get stuck, and if you got nowhere to go and no real family to bail you out, which me and my wife don't have, you kind of are forced to go to Skid Row. Skid Row is by the bus station. It's where all the shelters are. It's where all the food is. It's where all the resources are located. But Skid Row is a very nasty place.
So guys, you heard it first and foremost. This is exactly what I was saying about if you want to successfully go from homeless to financial success, um, you have to stay away from shelters. You have to stay away from asking other homeless people because they don't know they're in a bad situation. And as you see, it's just like in every other city, like in Atlanta and Miami. Usually, where the homeless shelters is and where the homeless resources is, the homeless people would create a community. And this community on Skid Row is very dangerous. You know, all types of stuff go on in Skid Row. And the thing about it is that he said that he was kind of forced to go to Skid Row. He didn't have to go there. Guys, just because you're homeless doesn't mean you have to go to these areas. Okay, if you want some resources, you want to go get your mail, you stop through, go get your mail, and you leave. And don't look back. And then you go to successfully be homeless. You want to go off on your own to a good part of town where there's not too many homeless people walking around or whatever, where you can be solo dolo and nobody don't really know you. Because in the homeless community is just like any other community. It's like a prison community. It's like a neighborhood community where people will start to know you and basically getting your business. Sometimes it'll be, you know, in a worse way as well. But let's keep it moving.
Um,
It
it,
is a, yeah, go on.
it will make it so you are constantly just worried about what you need to survive because everything's being taken from you. You're being taxed for living on certain streets. You have to pay. Basically, drugs run most of Los Angeles itself, but especially Skid Row. Um, Skid Row hurt me in ways I can't ever explain. It made me do things. It made me see things that I wish I never would have seen. It's amazing what people can do to other people.
You're gonna have to. I can't hear you with the traffic.
Facts. And can you imagine like a 19-year-old girl, a 19-year-old girl, a young woman, homeless, don't really have any direction, didn't want to listen to her parents at home. And she's like, that's just like going to Skid Row or going to a homeless community with a bunch of guys. It's just like being a male going to prison on your first day and the guys are catcalling you, you know. Can you just imagine the people who don't have any experience being homeless and then they're getting fed into the homeless community? Guys, this is real, but let's keep it moving.
It's amazing what people can do to other people. I especially feel bad for the females here. They get used up in a whole different way. My wife experienced that. But ultimately, I've seen some great acts of kindness here. I've seen some great things. The problem is you get trapped here. And people say, I panhandle for money. People say, get a job. Okay, well, if I had somewhere to rest my head where my stuff wasn't stolen, where I didn't have to worry about blankets, where I didn't have to worry about food.
Right. In the homeless community, 9 times out of 10, other homeless people will take from you. You know, they will steal stuff from you. And this is why I tell people, like, go off to a area that's peaceful, that's not in the hood per se. Don't go to the hood. Go to a suburban area where you're by yourself, where you can blend in and be homeless and go to sleep so you can go to work in the morning. But let's keep it moving.
Um, I might be able to get a job. But then also, I've been seen through this entire town now, and now I'm known as homeless. So to get a job, I have to leave the area. I have nowhere to get a shower daily. I have nowhere to keep work clothes. It's not as easy as get a job, you know?
And you don't get much sleep.
No, right.
Because you're in survival mode, and the other night I met somebody and his shoes were stolen while I was sleeping.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, that's a very funny thing. Your shoes get stolen a lot while you're here. And who steals a homeless man's shoes? Your shoes can be completely worthless, and someone still takes them. And that's a really hard thing, because you wake up in the morning and you've got no shoes. Now you got to walk around where people throw broken glass, people piss on the ground, cockroaches, and you got to look for shoes. And that's very disheartening. That's one of the strangest things I've come across here. I've had shoes that are completely worthless and stink so bad somewhere, and someone still takes them. But it's also sharpened me. I don't miss a beat. There isn't too much. I'm pretty in tune with everything and everyone around me. I'm a lot more aware than they are, I assume.
People who have spent time on the streets are very aware of their surroundings.
You have to. You have to be, because if not, your surroundings will get you. You know, especially on Skid Row. You know, I don't go there at all anymore. I broke from Skid Row about 6 months ago, and I haven't been there for a single thing. I broke from there for a reason. Somebody started trying to tax us, just on panhandling, bringing money back. They wanted us to give them a percentage. And then they started doubling it until the number got so astronomical that there's no way anybody could ever pay it.
And it's extorted. They're threatening. They're threatening violence or whatever if you don't pay the tax.
They'll burn your tent down. You know, I've had 13 whole tents stolen. I just got jumped the other day. I've been jumped 13 times, 10 of which I don't.
How do you get jumped 13 times and stay in the same area? This dude had multiple tents stolen. I'm telling you, the homeless community, if you ever is gonna face homelessness, stay away from the homeless. You know, stay away from the homeless. You want to stay away from the bad people, but you also want to try to veer away from the homeless, and you don't want to never act like you have anything, because there's somebody who will take it from you. But let's keep it moving.
Know the person, or the person is completely, absolutely insane, and I still don't know them, or I've never even seen the person who hits me because they're robbing me in an alley, you know. And it's been hard, you know, but you survive. You find things like God, you find things like yourself, you find what you're made of, you know. You can't break me. You can't break my faith.
Is anybody helping you?
Yeah, not really, really. People throw me some money here and there, some food here and there, socks, as you did. But things are so expensive here as well. Like a hot dog behind me, $7. You know how long it takes me to sit down and make $7? You know, everything down here is a lot more expensive too. So
people think you make all kinds of money panhandling.
there are days I do. There are days I do all right, but that money goes really fast because it costs a lot to live. You know, especially with a wife. You know, 3 meals a day, You splurge sometimes, socks, new clothes. A shower is a really hard thing.
What people don't understand, it's, this is not a job that gives you self-esteem.
Yeah, no.
Panhandling,
No.
hey, people spit at you, call you names, pour coffee on you.
Yeah, right. But you have to be ready for that. And it gets to the point where it doesn't even matter. You don't care because you need it so bad. And survival comes first. And we as human beings will do anything to survive.
Now, is like when I said any service providers, any homeless?
They try, but I can't keep a cell phone because it gets stolen. I can't keep a cell phone charged when I do got it. There are people that stop by once in a while and take down my name and my information and say they're going to help, and then I see them again maybe 2 or 3 times here and there, or I see them again and they turn their head and walk the other way and feel ashamed that they didn't help me or couldn't help me. I have people that throw me $10, $20 and think that's going to solve everything, and next time they're mad at me because I'm not off the street because they're $10 or $20. But I'm at a point where I'm stuck. This is what I do. I've become comfortable with it. I don't see no other way out. Like I said, I feel like I'm falling and never hitting a bottom, or at least hitting a bottom that's false. And every time I go to try to climb out, that bottom's pulled for me and I fall more. If I could reach an absolute solid bottom, I might be able to climb out. But there is no real bottom because it's always being pulled out from under you.
This guy right here is absolutely shell shocked, from homelessness. He don't see no way out of being homeless, And this is what happens to a lot of people, and they end up becoming chronically homeless because they think that they can maneuver it, but then once they become homeless, it's a whole different ball game than what they thought it was. So guys, take some of my advice, and if you're ever in a homeless situation, listen to what I be saying on these videos, man, because you're gonna save yourself a lot of issues. Like I said, when I said I got hit by a tractor trailer, I got hit by a tractor trailer because I was hanging around the homeless people, and we were fighting. We were fighting in the street. An 18-wheeler rolled over my ankles. So, anything can happen and when you're homeless, bro. It's dangerous. I'm gonna holler at you guys on the next video. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. And we up.